What do we have for Capricorn? The devil. Capricorn, that is your energy at the foundation of the reading. Now, as I was preparing for this reading, I was shuffling all of my decks, and I kept seeing the devil card as I was shuffling through each deck. It's actually very strong inside of your energy right now. However, just to be clear here, although the devil card is one of your cards in the tarot, this does not mean you are the devil, okay? There are positive aspects to the devil card. It's an energy that can be seen as you facing your fears. It can also be a very playful kind of energy. All right. But what I am getting from this entire reading, the downloads that I've been receiving, some of the pre-spreads I did, I'm just getting this energy here of you breaking free. So it's really you leaving some sort of place of restriction. It's as if the universe is trying to help you reclaim your power and leave some sort of very toxic, abusive situation. Now, this can certainly be a relationship. It can also be family dynamics. It can also be something having to do with your job or your environment. So really take it as it fits. But I feel that you are in a season right now where if you have already left this energy behind, you're dealing with the backlash. You're dealing with residual energies that don't want to let you go. It's like these opposing energies have been placed inside their own private hell of their doing. I'm getting energy here of people really starting to get a taste of their own medicine. And all you had to do here, Cap, was to push forward in power, listen to your higher guidance, and leave whatever this is behind. I also feel the need to say that this reading is going to be for not only Capricorns, but cross-watchers and whoever feels drawn to this reading. You could be dealing with a Cap, you could be a Cap. There's many different ways this can go. So it's up to you to be responsible and place it as you see fit in your own life and in accordance with your own set of circumstances. I feel that a lot of weird synchronicities have been taking place recently, Cap. You're in one of these energies where you start to hear songs, and they remind you of some of these people you've left behind. I just heard, when bad people ruin good songs, right? I quite often find myself hearing a really great song, and it's sometimes connected to an individual that's not necessarily my most favorite person in the world. And I feel that this is what's happening to you right now. What I've personally found, and what I've heard other people say as well, is that when this happens, it's because people are either thinking about you, they've got your name in their mouth, there's just some sort of energetic cord between the two of you that is being pulled. Something is taking place. But I feel that as you start to see some of these synchronicities, or again, if you start to hear a song that reminds you of one of these people, it's a sign from the universe that this energetic cord is being severed. There's something in the energy that's taking place. It's all behind the scenes. You're being prepared for bigger and better, and even though you may not be able to see this, great things are coming your way, Cap, for all the work you've put in to release these situations. You just need to trust the process and let it unfold in divine timing. Keep moving forward in the knowing that all is working out in your favor. What do we have, the sacral, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Confirming everything I'm saying. Five of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the sacral. Getting a couple of messages off of this card. Not only is it representing a timeline that you have left behind that vibrated at the frequency of poverty, lack, right? There's something you need to understand. Poverty is an energy. It's a frequency, like abundance, right? And it doesn't always have to do with money. It's a mindset. But this timeline you were on, there was something about it, the situation, the person, whatever it may be that you were dealing with, that caused you to have some sort of lack mindset. You perceived yourself through a filter of lack. You know, there's many ways this can show up, but most commonly, this is going to be the result of some sort of projected energy. You know, maybe you're in a toxic relationship and somebody's very verbally abusive, and it causes you to have a distorted image of yourself based on this person's negative projections towards you. This is a very common one, and there's probably not a single person listening to this reading right now that hasn't gone through this. But I also feel it goes much deeper. I feel that, oh wow, I just got this quite a dull, throbbing pain right through my sinuses, almost like I hit my head on something or somebody struck me in the head. There's an energy I'm picking up here, Cap, that doesn't want to let you go. I feel that there's an energy trying to distract me from delivering this message to all of you. It's very strong, and it could be in relation to what I'm about to say. But there is something here that I'm picking up from your childhood, Cap, some sort of shadow work that you may be working on or you may need to work on. And I feel that this situation you've been dealing with in the here and now with this person or whoever this may be, or these people, it's a direct reflection. It's a direct result of something inside of you that's unhealed. Now, as we go through life, we pick up all sorts of negative projections, and it typically starts from the moment of inception. We just start to absorb our environments. We experience a lot of trauma, and if these things are left unhealed or they're not addressed correctly, then it creates these kind of karmic imprints. It can be seen as like a skipping film strip, like in a creepy rundown old movie theater, right? Now imagine that getting buried on this deep subconscious layer and it just falls back into the recesses of your mind. Usually we do this without even realizing it because we don't know how to deal with whatever that trauma may be. Now think about how you have dealt with this in your adult life and how difficult it is to address some of these things. And compare that to when you're a child. You don't even know what's happening. You don't even know what it is you're seeing or dealing with. So it has this way of molding you without you even knowing it. It kind of messes with your wiring. And as we grow up, we have all of that inside of us. The universe wants us to heal that, because us healing that is actually a part of our own spiritual evolution, which works in an incremental fashion to help evolve the collective. We are all spokes on the wheel. So what I have personally found, and I have seen in many other people's lives, is that you will start to be confronted with all that deeply embedded trauma by the people and the situations you come in contact with. That's why a lot of you have been in the same kinds of relationships over and over. And you can't figure out why. It's because there's a kind of space inside of you that is in lack. So these energies will come into your life that vibrate at that same frequency of that lack you have inside of you. It's kind of void, right? I call it spiritual dents. I've spoken about this before. Trauma creates these spiritual dents or these cracks in our auric field that we can't see. So then we attract people that are vibrating at the same frequency as that trauma. And we quite often confuse these individuals as soulmates, twin flames, through that kind of energetic trauma bonding. And I feel that a large portion of the Capricorn collective is facing this right now. Now, this is something that every single person on this planet is faced with because we've all been through trauma. Whether big or small, we've all been through it in some capacity, and life is really just perpetual healing. It's perpetual evolution of self. But I do feel, Cap, this is something that you're starting to become aware of. Maybe it took you being drawn to this reading to hear me articulate it in this particular way to understand what may be taking place here. And I speak from experience. I've been through this, okay? I still go through this. Again, the healing is perpetual, but the way you take control over this is to get on the other side of understanding, right? And this can be very empowering because not only can you sift through the people that come on your path rather quickly and recognize them for quite possibly reflections of your own trauma, but it can also get you to your destination a lot quicker because you can get around these obstacles and also realize that there may still be some healing inside of you that needs to be had. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Hermit, Virgo energy at the solar plexus. following everything I just said beautifully, because now this is you having this deeper understanding of everything I'm saying here. It's like you're going inward now to try and sift through all this deeply embedded trauma, right? It's like you're going through the hallways of your mind with this lantern. Like, oh, well, I didn't even realize this was buried over here, right? See, this is just speaking metaphorically. It's you really starting to think back on your path, Cap, and gather a deeper understanding of how your path up until this point is very much what makes up all the fibers, all the detail of your current reality. Now, when you can gather this perspective and this understanding, it's very empowering, because you start to realize that you have a control over the way your reality looks in a way that you never realized you had before. And what I mean by this is when you're able to shift into this kind of vantage point or perspective over your life, understand your path up until this point, you'll start to see where you maybe hit a few bumps in the road, and you'll start to understand that maybe you need to address a few things. Okay, this is just another way of really speaking about doing shadow work. You go back and you heal something. You try to gather some sort of understanding. Now there's countless ways this can show up, and I'm obviously reading for thousands of Capricorns, so you just need to take the general idea of what I'm saying there and apply it to your life. But when you can do this, Cap, you'll find a new power inside of yourself that you never even knew you had access to. You just start to gather a deeper understanding of how energy works. You also start to get a better idea of how life works. You know, we're all down here just trying to put together this big puzzle with the pieces that the divine has blessed us with, in hopes that maybe we can get a clear enough picture to get on our path and live a happy, well-meaning, and abundant life. But we're all tasked with a job. There's a reason why we're down here. And everything that you are personally being tasked with here is all written in your Akashic records. It's all a part of your mission, right? Like I said earlier, we're here to evolve and help evolve the collective. Each one of us works in this incremental fashion. Each one of us is more important than you can really possibly begin to even imagine. We are all adding our own little brush strokes to the canvas of life. And abundance is all of your birthrights. You just need to put in the work that you've personally been tasked with in this life cycle to be able to access it. Once you start to understand this, it becomes easier and easier to push through this kind of energy here. I remember when I was on the other side of this, right? Before I'd accomplished this in my own life, it seemed like an illusion, like it wasn't possible, because I was personally perceiving it from inside this restricted simulation, from inside the matrix. I was perceiving it from the confines of my own mind that were programmed into me by my own set of circumstances and traumas that I had picked up on my path. But at the end of the day, it's all about healing and it's all about love. And there's this dark force that's going to be working overtime to try and tell you otherwise. But if you keep pushing and you don't give up, eventually, Cap, you will have the breakthrough. You will cross over. You'll make it over that threshold. And you'll look back and you'll begin to see that everything I'm saying to you here is coming to pass in your life. That everything I'm saying is true. And the more of you that actually are able to break through to the other side, the better for all of us, because we're fighting a spiritual war together. This is when you come to the front lines. What do we have at the heart, please? And I have the devil, again, right on the bottom of the stick. Okay, so it's just all over this energy. Too many cards. What do we have at the heart, please? Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, Sag energy at the heart. So again, this is following everything I'm saying perfectly. Okay, this is all about timelines, life cycles. It's all a part of your destiny. This was all written. It was supposed to go down like this. You see, though there's countless different timelines that we can access in every single moment of the day based on how we're moving, I feel that there's only two destinations. There's the light and then there's the dark. There's the divine and then there's the underworld. We're constantly being faced with choices that align with one or the other. Everything we come in contact with every day has an influence over our vibration. We're being pelted with all different frequencies at any given moment. It's why we live in a world that seems to be coming apart at the seams. There's so much fear everywhere because there's a giant spiritual battle taking place right now. And even though we can't really see this in our own realities, we're all fighting the spiritual war. And this is what makes it so challenging because we don't really know exactly what we're dealing with here. And there's all these negative external forces that are trying to distract us from going inward, connecting to our higher self. And this is why it's so incredibly important to make sure that you're maintaining yourself inside your own personal reality, Cap. There's always going to be distraction. It's just going to keep increasing. That's not going away. But how we deal with it and how we let it affect us is our responsibility. But it's our responsibility to take control and understand that we tell how it's going to be. What do I mean by it? Reality, Cap. Your mind is what constructs your reality. Your vibration is what allows you to be able to have the power to construct your reality. So simply put, the frequencies that you mix with on the day-to-day, again, dictates your vibration, whether it's low or high. When it's high, it's much easier to take control over your everyday waking life and construct a positive reality of abundance, success, and happiness. When you mix with very low vibrational energies, it's even easier to construct a reality of fear, misery, and poverty. So start becoming more mindful about the decisions you make, whether they're big or small. They all matter. Because each one of those decisions is, without a shadow of a doubt, working to get you closer to one of those two paths that I just explained to you. I spoke about this in the collective reading I just put out. There seems to be a theme running through the collective reading, even the Aquarius reading, and also the Leo reading, about all of us gathering a deeper understanding of choices and how they relate to frequency and how those frequencies have a direct influence on how we show up vibrationally. When you are vibrating, you attract the tools you need to construct your own universe, your own reality. So make sure, Cap, you're using discernment, especially in this time we're in right now. I feel that we're really in a time where there's really no mercy. It's like we've all had enough time, and there's no reason to make it so hard on yourself anymore. It's like you're right on the threshold of this huge awakening in your life, and this vision you've been holding for yourself is right there on the horizon line. It's so close. It's like we're trying to make it across a body of water, and there's lots of rocks that we can step on to get to the other side. But depending on what rocks we step on, we might find ourselves in a space where there's no more rocks in front of us that are gathered together in a way that we can actually make it to the other side. And it's hard to see all the rocks, right? We can't really see which ones make it to the other side. They're kind of hidden by the water. They don't really appear until you start approaching them. This is very similar to what I'm picking up here, Cap. But your intuition is the key to all this, your connection with the divine. Because as long as that connection, that intuitive channel is open and clear, you can practically walk on water because you start moving deliberately. You don't worry about what rock is going to be appearing before you. You just know. And this speaks about timelines, Cap. This speaks about all the choices you make in any given moment. You know. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. Eight of Cups, Pisces energy at the throat. And it's very interesting because as you can see here, this illustration, there's a body of water and we could see there's rocks, right? And when I was channeling that message in regard to the body of water and the rocks we have to step on to get to the other side, the imagery that I was seeing in my mind's eye was very similar to this. You know, the Eight of Cups, this is all about moving on from something, withdrawing your energy from spaces that do not serve your highest good, and only allowing yourself to mix with energies that do serve your highest good, that do feed your soul. It's very important, Cap, that you are always in an energy where you're receiving for what you're putting out, okay? Once you start to understand how this works, life becomes way easier. Stress starts to melt away. It takes time, okay? It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of focus, but it is absolutely possible to live a life that is filled with mostly happy, blessed days. And again, I speak from experience. I left a timeline behind where it seemed like every single day was filled with misery, stress, some sort of drama, some sort of obstacle. I felt unseen by the universe. I felt like I was living a meaningless life. I felt like I wasn't important and I didn't matter. Until I started to understand what I'm presenting all of you here with right now. And this perspective didn't come overnight. It took me begging and pleading on my hands and knees with the divine to please show me a better way. Show me how to turn my life around. But one thing that always happens is that if your heart is in the right place, if you're sincere in your cries to the divine, you will get a response. Oh yes, you will. No matter what it is you may be going through, there is a way out. I promise you, there is. There's always a way out. What do we have at the throat, please? 8 of Pentacles at the third eye. Each one of you, 8 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, 88. Each one of you has a portal opening up for you that the divine wants you to step into. When you find yourself on this new timeline, your connection with Source and spirituality is going to be the center of your reality. It's what allows you to construct this new universe for yourself. There's also something here that I'm picking up in regards to you building a future on the ashes of your past, the pain of your past, right? The wisdom you've gathered is what allows you to build a whole new foundation for yourself. It really speaks about somebody who starts doing all this kind of shadow work, pulling out those spiritual dents, and then being gifted with a particular kind of wisdom that allows you to be this master builder on this new timeline you're on. It's like all of the struggles of your past are now presented back to you as a collection of ideas that allow the divine to create a pathway to deliver all of your blessings to you. And again, this is how I've personally seen this play out in my own individual life, right? You do all this healing work, and then on the backside of that, you start to gain different perspectives on things in your life. You start to look at life differently. You start to spark these ideas that you feel intuitively guided to put some sort of action behind. You don't know what it is. You just know that you have to go and do this or that, right? And then before you know it, it's like those ideas are allowing you to receive abundance materially, financially. Success is just something you're able to begin accessing. It's usually amongst all of this, you start to realize that you're tapped into something that is from beyond. What do we have at the crown, please? Wow. These cards are following everything I'm saying, and I always say that because they do. The Empress is the card of abundance. This is you planting a seed and it growing into a garden. I mean, this is more like a forest region here. This is the most beautiful card in the tarot. Male or female, it doesn't matter. It just represents the vibration that you are emanating. It's also a card that represents Mother Nature. So this speaks about, I just got a really loud ringing in my ear as well, right when I said that. But I was going to say that this is you really having this deep connection with the world, vibrationally speaking, and the universe. It's like your vibration starts to calibrate with the light side of the world around you. It gives you access and taps you in to Source, which speaks about what I was mentioning right before this card came out. There's a culmination that takes place, timelines converging. You access your Akashic records and you just start to receive floods of downloads. Some of you may already be going through this now. You know, when this really started happening for me, when I was really going through this major awakening that I had 6 years ago, I was just jotting down all these notes, piles and piles of notes. Some of it made sense. Some of it made sense over time. Some of it I just couldn't really decode. But as time has gone on, I obviously kept all of that and I refer back to it. And every time I do, up until present day, I take something new from it. It's like I start to read something and I just have this kind of aha moment, like, wow, I understand what that means now. And I can't quite get over how profound it is, because I was really tapped in to something so incredibly powerful when I was going through that awakening. And I kept having this visual of a file cabinet. I'm having it now, actually. It's like I was given access to the file cabinet of my life, right? The Akashic records. But my time in that space was obviously limited. You don't get to just stay there. You have to get in and get out. But I say all this because a lot of you are going through this right now, and all of you have the ability to be able to access that space. But it takes pure dedication. It requires surrender. It requires commitment, without complaint, without faltering. What do we have at the foundation, please? Hangman, Bifrons, Pisces energy at the foundation of the reading. This hangman here is speaking about a kind of delay. There's something here about some sort of energy or energies putting you in a place of victimization, right? These are the sorts of energies that will purposely do something to you, and with the knowing that they're creating a victim out of you. Now, the problem with this is it's difficult to get out of that space, and you can't grow within that space. It's an energy that wants you to succumb to all the weapons they form against you, and then carry that with you on your path. It goes back to what I said about us picking up different things in our path, and it's coming up again right here. So this is why it's so incredibly important to do this shadow work and release all this energy. We don't want to be carrying this baggage with us on our path, because it all works in an incremental fashion, again, to influence our vibration at any given moment. I'm also picking up something here surrounding individuals that have been subjecting you to these kinds of energies, and some of you have yet to leave, or some of you have yet to cut the cords, okay? But hopefully I've explained enough to you for you to gain a higher understanding of how this is working to keep you off your intended path. What do we have at the sacral, please? The Chariot, Andras, Cancer energy at the sacral. Off your intended path is exactly right. So this Chariot here, this is, again, an energy of delay, but it's an energy that wants you to give up. It's an energy that wants you to lose focus and control and keep you in this lack mindset here. It's like these sorts of karmic cycles that we run are like little horror houses that we live in for an extended period of time. I mean, that's how I perceive it, being somebody who's gotten to the other side of this now. When I look back at specific times in my life, they're kind of like little horror movies. And it's really hard to see the darkness of how you see it now when you're in the middle of it, right? Can't see the forest for the trees. It's one of my favorite sayings. I always say that because it's just so true to life. And when you get on the other side of this, you just begin to question everything. Every relationship, every family member, everything is put under the microscope, because you just start to wonder why anybody would want to keep you in a space like that, or why anybody else didn't speak up sooner. And what I've concluded, Cap, is that they don't know, right? Again, can't see the forest for the trees, but they're asleep. They just don't get it. You have to want better. You have to want more to get more. Life is, like we determined earlier on, a spiritual war. You have to go out and get it, especially now. It's just not going to show up on your front doorstep. You got to start digging, okay? There's a lot of secrets that you're going to uncover, whether it's about your own personal life or just you uncovering, or rather gaining a higher perspective over how life works, or enough of it, right? We just need to know enough to start implementing changes. We're never going to know everything, but we can definitely arm ourselves with enough knowledge to make a huge difference in our own life and the lives of others. Usually, by us stepping into our power, it creates a ripple effect. I mean, this is what this is all about, right? It's all about influence. We're all here to create influence. We're soldiers of awakening. You pull this off, and other people are going to pick up on it too. What do we have with the solar plexus, please? Baphomet, the magician, right there at the solar plexus. So we have the devil and we have Baphomet all in the same spread. There's an energy you're dealing with that is completely resistant to change. This is a very reckless energy that wants to drag you and everyone else down with them. I feel like this is also somebody who is hating on your new beginning, hating on the person you're becoming through the process of this particular awakening. But God is going to show these individuals the new you, right? God prepares a table before your enemies. By the time it gets to this point, it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Dealing with this myself, you just find yourself not caring anymore. You just want to move on with your life. But it's your duty, and it's all a part of your path. It has to go down this way because this is what creates the ripple effect. God wants to give these individuals an opportunity to try and get it right by using you as an example as to what right looks like. What do we have at the heart, please? We have the world, Vapula, disability, and immorality. A lot of people are going to watch you move on without them, Cap. And rather than cheer you on, rather than give you their blessing, they're going to wish that you were still stuck with them. This is another part of the process because you start to see people for who they really are. This is really hurtful when this happens because it's usually 100% of them that are illuminated as haters. It's shocking because you start to realize that you have always been surrounded by these kinds of individuals. You start to blame yourself for not seeing sooner, which is why forgiving yourself is a thing, right? But that's what awakening is. I'm hearing a lot of you are going to build new families, new communities, depending on what your circumstances may be. For those of you that don't have children, a lot of you are going to have kids, and you're going to do it differently, Cap. They're not going to go through what you went through. You understand that it's not necessary. And this is called breaking generational karma. Then we have Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, Mizral, self-atonement. As you are creating your new universe, the individuals that you have left behind are now having to atone for their sins. It's divine law. And, we see right here this individual being kind of grabbed by this angel. It's almost as if this angel is grabbing them and holding them there, right? Saying, look at Cap over there. Look at Cap now, right? They're being forced to look at you, to see you. I just heard the tables are going to turn, Cap. What I said about hearing songs that remind you of them, this is going to become their entire reality. Everything they see or do is going to have a reminder of you. They're going to be haunted with the memories of what they put you through. These are amongst the karmic repercussions for the weapons they formed against you. What do we have at the throat, please? Perfect. The Fool. Veuia, the exalting God, will and new beginning, assists with difficult and great undertakings. There's a whole new beginning here for you, Cap. You fought a war to get here. You've literally been to hell and back. This is what hell's made of. Hell is a frequency. Hell is a vibration that any one of us can access in any given moment. Hell is a mindset, which is the byproduct of the frequency that affects our vibration. But now you are surrounded with the vibration of hope and abundance. And you're finally feeling like you have the courage to take chances in certain areas of your life that you may have felt held back from in this previous cycle. You're finally showing up for yourself and for your mission. You're no longer a no-show. What do we have at the third eye, please? There it is again. Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy. God liberating the oppressed. Self-atonement cures mental illness, deliverance from persecution. So, just further reiterating what we said here, but it's also speaking metaphorically about a kind of mental illness that came with being in this karmic cycle, right? It could be the mindset of lack. It could be you being trapped inside that victim mindset, but now you're being liberated from all of this. And those that were working overtime to keep you in that space are again having to watch you in your new beginning. And right as I said that, Cap, I just saw all these eyes light up in the dark. I feel like you have a lot of people watching you right now. They're watching you because a lot of them are witnessing something that they've never seen before. What do we have? The crown to close up, Cap? 10 of Wands, Sag energy to close out the reading at the crown. God humiliating the proud. Spiritual communication influences religious men, teachers, and men of law. Wow. This 10 of Wands is an energy of a revelation. It's an energy of laying down and letting go of these burdens. It's an energy of freedom. And the way it says influences religious men, teachers, and men of law, I just started to think about all the eyes that are on you, right? It's like you're in this energy where you're doing things that creates influence. You have the kind of energy that can set people out on a new path in their life. It's like you open up the doorways in the mind that allow individuals to start accessing different parts of themselves merely by watching you build and manifest this whole new reality and universe for yourself based on the struggles of your past. Cap, this is the message I have available to you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Cap. Take care.